We're back from our break, and like I promised you guys earlier in the show, we have a special guest joining us here on All Things Covered. I mean, 2020 hasn't been ideal for a lot of people, right? We've been going through a lot. But I can tell you, this individual, his 2020 is going pretty well. He won a championship back in February. He got a nice, big-time, handsome ransom. His pockets is full. He's currently balling, playing big-time football. His team is undefeated, one of the best teams in the National Football League, clearly in the AFC. And he's also making history in another way. He is the first official guest here on our podcast, All Things Covered. I would like to introduce to you guys. You love him. He's an outstanding player, outstanding individual. Tyrann Mathieu joining us here on All Things Covered. Man, Tyrann, it's a pleasure. Thank you for joining us.
My guys, it's an honor, man. I appreciate y'all having me.
I mean, you've done a lot in your professional career, and you still continuing to write and add to your career. But let's go back to the relationship between you and Pat. You know, when was the first time you guys met?
Yo, I think that if I remember, the first time we met was on a recruiting trip. I've been to LSU, and you know, obviously, I'm a big football fan. You know, so I've always admired Pat, you know, from afar, and you know, him coming to LSU is like, that's a big deal, you know, because, you know, at the time, LSU wasn't getting top 5, you know, national recruits. So for him to come there, you know, he definitely put the school on the map, you know, especially from a defensive back perspective. And so, yeah, I think that was like the first time, you know, I officially met him.
Hey, he might, I'm sure he do remember this, but the first time we did meet, we was out, like you said, on our recruiting trip. And I tell people this story all the time because it still cracked me up to this day. Like I said, we was out, we was just chilling, and he was like, "Yo, if anybody know Ty, we know how you talk. You talk with his hands, like, yo, say 5, like I'm gonna be better than you, yo." I was like, "Damn, like, you still in high school?"
Hey Pat, he told you that while he was on his recruiting trip, while you were already established. You was already established at LSU,
yeah,
right?
I say, man, you still in high school. But I say, you know what? I like that. And I want you to be better than me. And when he came there to LSU, man, it was like a match made in heaven. It was like a very, very unique friendship that jumped off from the gate. You know, his playmaking ability speaks for itself, but you know, the human that he is, the personality that he has, you know, the caring heart that he has, it definitely separates him from a lot of men. So you know, he's a special guy. So I'm definitely happy that we had the opportunity to meet at that time, and our relationship continued to grow.
Yeah.
So, Pat, when was the first time when Tyrann signed to be a Tiger? When was the first time you saw him on the grass and you was like, "Oh yeah, youngin got it.
I'm telling you, it was listen, Mac. It was the first 7 on, yo. We going out there. It's all player organized because, you know, like in the summer we can't be with the coaches. It's just all the players. So like the older guys. We're all, you know, older guys in the secondary linebacker. We put our group together and be like, yo, we're going to meet up at, you know, 3 o'clock. Everybody, boom, we do out there. Everybody doing their workout, study hall. And we're going to meet up and we're trying to get better. So it was one of those 7-on-7s and the freshmen just got there. They was done with their day. And they was just strolling in, him, E. Reed, like all the young boys is coming over from Lod Cook. That's our Breakfast Club spot. And literally the first 7 on, he had like 4 turnovers. Like I never forget. Like he had like 2 picks, came and stripped somebody who caught like a slant on him. Like it was just phenomenal to watch. And I was like, yeah, like this kid got it. And it's very rare that you see. It's just like it is in the league. It's very rare that you see young players come into a institution or a situation with that it factor. You know what I mean? And that's what, like I said, that's what separated them.
Well, Tyrann, I know I was a fan of yours when you was playing college football. I was in the league at the time, but I thought the passion and the energy you displayed week in and week out was something you didn't see from a lot of young secondary players. So you first wore number 14, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
Yo, no, my first number was actually 12.
You had 12.
Mm-hmm.
I had 12 at first.
Yeah.
I switched to 14.
Okay. So you had – I remember seeing you balling with number 14.
Yeah.
But eventually you made that switch to number 7.
Yeah.
Now, for a lot of football fans, they might not know what number 7 means for LSU, but tell us a little bit about the significance in that number.
Yeah, I mean, it holds great weight. You know what I mean? And just like I said earlier, man, I think Pat coming to LSU, being such a high, recruit and, can literally go anywhere in the country, but yet, he come to LSU and, he kind of helped be, one of the forefathers, of DBU, and he's the reason a lot of guys, come there to play DB, especially cornerbacks, So I think, when he left, obviously, I was next in line, and my mind is, what an opportunity, to wear a number or to represent somebody, that has really, done a lot for me, on and off the field. And, I think just me being able to be around him, I wasn't this, elite specimen, I wasn't this national recruit, but I think being around Pat and I think having that friendship, I kind of felt like I was, a part of that elite group. And, I think it's important, that, he brought that out of me, that I saw that in myself through him. You know what I mean? So, forever grateful for that. And, yeah, he done so much for me, man. But, yeah, I think just wearing number 7, just, trying to represent him and, keep his name alive as well.
Talking about the elite group, when you talk about the secondary players that have played at LSU, prior to this episode, many people reached out to me talking about claiming DBU, right? And me and Pat, we've had this discussion many a nights about DBU, me going to Florida State, Pat going to LSU, and of course you went to LSU as well. Is it, when you talk about DBU, Tyrann, I want you to be unbiased. I know how Pat feel about this, right? Yeah. But when you talk about DBU, does it start and stop with LSU? And if so, why?
I think to be 100% honest, I think it like comes in waves, Right. So, one program may hold that title for, 6-8 years, and then it's another program, and then it's going to be another one that come after that. And so, but I think, LSU, I think we, in our mind, we're able to come to the next level and really perform, at that same level we did, in college. And so, obviously, we got a lot of LSU guys that's currently in the league playing at a high level. So I think, yeah, that's probably why, I give us the nod, as far as DBU.
And that's exactly what I said, Matt. I said it comes in waves. I said when y'all had Prime, T-Buck, the list goes on, yourself. The list goes on, like Jalen,
Camardi, yeah.
X, Camardi, the list goes on. It just goes in waves. And just like I told you, said since 2010 until at least now, you can say we're DBU.
Yeah, I think we probably got the best. Like, if you could put LSU secondary up against any current, active group, I think we'll probably have the best, the most complete secondary for sure.
Who would be in that top 4 then? If you talk about the best LSU mates that are currently in the NFL, I give you a 5-man secondary with a 5th guy being a nickel. So 2 safeties, 2 corners, and a nickel. Give me that.
Pat P, he gonna travel with whoever number 1.
Yep.
And then I got Tre'Davious White.
Yep.
He gonna roll. Obviously Jamal Adams.
Yep.
Who else?
You need a nickel. You need another safety.
I as far as safety, I'll go with a young boy.
Who that?
Actually just tore his Achilles, but Grant Delpit.
Yeah, Delpit. Okay.
With us, I think he got the attitude. He could roll with us. And then obviously I play the nickel. I'll do all the running around.
Hey, listen here, man. I'm not gonna lie. That's a nice 5. Even with you throwing a young bull in there, Grant Delpit, because he was a big time playmaker last year in the secondary.
Right. Hey, and then we're gonna have my boy Dante on practice squad, man.
Man, listen. So you mean to tell me Dante got to make the practice squad? He can't even make the starting 5?
You said top 5, man.
I did. You know what? With y'all answering that question the way you did, with the depth that you have, the quality and the quantity, I must tip my hat to LSU. Right now, I would say I don't think there's another university that can put 5 outstanding players in the secondary right now and be content and happy. And if you got Dante Jackson coming in as the practice squad guy, And we're missing a few other guys too now, right?
That's what I'm saying. And not only that, the young fella, man, the young fella can go in there and do what he's supposed to do. He can win the Thorpe back to back.
Yeah.
Oh, who are you talking about?
Stingley.
Yeah.
He's just a sophomore.
How good is Stingley, man? I've been praising Stingley all year, man.
Stingley the real deal, man. I had the opportunity to work out with Stingley last year. Was it last year? No, yeah, it was last year. Yeah, I had an opportunity to work out with him while I was suspended. So I went to Baton Rouge a little bit and worked out with the young boys, and he got it, man. Like he's another one of those guys that came in with it. He's special. I mean, and you can tell, as a freshman, you don't see many freshmen stepping on campus, becoming a man. Not out of nowhere. We kind of knew that was going to happen. But the way he handled it, the way he, carried himself throughout the process and continued to show up on those big stages, it was just like he's made for those moments. You know what I mean? So you can't deny that. So that's greatness right there. So, you know what I mean? You know it, Matt. You know it, Ty. You know greatness when you see it, and that young kid got it, man.
No question. So let's transition to Tyrann when you get drafted. And I don't know if you remember, Tyrann, but I remember coming out in the draft. You worked out with Pat, and we all was down in South Florida a little bit, grinding in that summer heat in South Florida when you was getting ready for the draft. And Pat used to talk to me all the time about you. And I know the process of you getting drafted clearly, was a little bit nerve-wracking. Right. But Pat was a guy that was definitely vocal about the Cardinals taking a chance and drafting you. Right. How did that make you feel knowing that you got a guy, man, that you grew up looking up to, became a teammate of, a great friend also, and then with him having your back, being able to be that extra voice that you needed to get to Arizona and then also proving them correctly and balling out? What did that mean to you?
I mean, yeah, it mean everything, man. When somebody could – speak highly of you, when others are, doubting you, you know what I mean? And to really be this voice of encouragement and support, and not a lot of people truly have that. I think it's easy to support people when everything's going well, but I think if you support somebody through adversity, that says a lot about, yourself, So like I said, man, just so thankful for him, in so many ways, man. He's really been one of those guys that's, really come into my life that has really like sparked my mind, in a lot of different instances, and got me thinking, further along. And so, but yeah, I think getting drafted to AZ, man, that was what I needed, coming into the league, being around him. Because when we was at LSU, it was, every day I was learning something, and I think when he went to the league, it was, I wasn't ready to lead those boys, especially off the field, and I think getting back around Pat, I was able to get back under that learning umbrella, you know what I mean? And until I was able to be a leader, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. And speaking on when he became a leader, it was remarkable to watch him grow. And I remember him getting his first C, I believe it was 2015, the year we went to the NFC Championship, and obviously you tore your ACL against the Eagles. But just when he got his C, just his whole demeanor changed. It wasn't like he arrived, because he already know who he is. He already know, what he can do. But once he got that C on his chest, it was like, all right, like I'm like one of the top 5 players. So therefore, what I say or how I play, how I move, it means something. And like he said, he was able to, watch that, not only for me, but from Larry, the Corey Peters, the Carson Palmers, the list goes on. And when he got that C, I was just so happy for him. And when he left the Cardinals and he went over to Houston and went over to did the same thing, it was like, he got it. And it was just, and I tell him all the time, it's a beautiful thing to watch him, the way he's blossomed into the world. Because I remember meeting him when he was, 16, 17 years old, this not snotty-nosed kid, but, just kid that, just needed guidance. And, like he said, I just wanted to, just pull out a helping hand to a brother, because I really felt that, we had a special connection when we first met. But nah, man, it's just definitely a pleasure to see the where he's going and the leadership role that he's definitely taken on, not only with the Cardinals, but with his with the Chiefs and being an outstanding father to his 3 beautiful kids. It's just great, man. It's just great to see Ty growing to this man that he is today.
Yeah. No question. And with that being said, you talked about, Tyrann leaving the Cardinals, going to Houston, and then most recently, signing with the Kansas City Chiefs. First season was with the Chiefs last year. Like I said, he got an outstanding background.
Yeah,
loving the
man.
background, man. Repping Chiefs Kingdom fully. So, Tyrann, let's talk about the Chiefs this year. It's good that we got both of you guys on because both of y'all are undefeated. You know what I mean? So both of you boys are part of winning organizations right now currently. But let's talk about the Chiefs. This past Sunday, another come from behind win against the Chargers. When you play the type of ball you play as an individual, and that has, translate throughout the entire defense on all 3 levels. But then when you got money Pat Mahomes at your quarterback, do you have any doubt? Is there any doubt that, we get down by 10, 15 points in the second half, we might not win this ball game?
I think having Pat as a quarterback kind of lessens the doubt. You know what I mean?
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, he's a special player, man. Special talent. He's a hell of a leader too. One of the first guys in the building. Really goes about his work the right way. And then he finds a way to not get distracted. So many people pulling on him, so many people praising him. I think for him to be that young, I remember when I was young, I feel old, but I'm still young, kind of. But yeah, I don't know if I could have handled all that, man. So praise to him, man. He's handling it all well. But yeah, it definitely pays to have him, as a quarterback.
Man, that throw he made to Tyreek on the run, yo.
Oh man.
I mean,
that's him, man.
I saw that 90 times and
man.
Hey, Tyrann, I was going to ask you, with you, practicing against Pat Mahomes, tell us something about him that we might not know. I mean, we see the unbelievable throws, on game days and just making people miss and just, the cannon for an arm he has. But for us, I'll never get a chance to be around Pat Mahomes like that. And the same could be said for Pat. I don't think Pat would ever play for the Chiefs, but who knows, right? But give us a little insight about Pat Mahomes, man, about what makes him so special, something that kind of blew you away from what you saw Pat do.
Yeah, I mean, outside, like I said, outside from him just, obviously having amazing arm talent, he's like a humble killer. Like when he comes into the arena or he comes to practice, you don't think he's there to, put you in your place. It's kind of like he's just like there, and then once that ball's in his hand, he turns into a completely different person, so he's highly competitive, and he knows where the ball's supposed to go. Not every quarterback, has that, trait, to be able to go from one read to the fourth read, and be on time, so but yeah, I mean, I saw him do so many special. I saw him throw a 70-yard, probably was in the effort 70 yards, training camp. So and sometimes he overthrow them boys, and
that's crazy.
Keep running, So
hey, so that's crazy right there. So Ty, talk to me about how difficult was it for you guys as a defense, having the uncertainty about, who was going to be the starting quarterback, going into the Chargers game. How difficult was it not going up against, preparing for Justin Herbert?
Yeah, to be honest, man, I thought the young kid came in there and played the way he was supposed to play. I think, he showed his team, why they invested so much in him, right. And he got great size, I think that's always an advantage for a quarterback. You're able to see the defense, see the linebackers to the safeties. Right. It just gives them a better view, and then I think on the other hand, us defensively, man, we tackled horrible yesterday. And even if you watch the game, he threw a couple balls downfield, but for the most part, he was just taking what we gave him. Right. And then it was on us in coverage, to come out of coverage and make those tackles.
Get the ball down, right.
Yeah, and we just couldn't, do that yesterday. But I felt like we made the plays, when it mattered the most. Right. And obviously, every game, don't go your way. Right. It really just comes down to, making the plays that come to you. Right. But I thought we did enough to contain them. But obviously, I think anytime you give up 300 yards passing, and you don't really impact the quarterback in a way, you would like, I think that's always something you can learn from, especially if you won the game.
I got you. Well, with you guys winning Super Bowl 54, most teams don't have the opportunity to go or win back-to-back Super Bowls. Did you guys have any egos in the locker room? You guys have the same mindset? Like, what's the vibe right now? Obviously, you guys are 2-0. You're flying high. Like how's the team?
I think we're in a good space. I think we got a young team, but it's a lot of guys that just love football. That's all they want to do is play ball. So I think that's a positive. Just like any other team, you add new faces each and every year on offense and defense, and so I think the biggest thing for us is, can we maintain that hunger? Because we have the talent, we have the personnel, we have the guys, in the impact positions, whether it be D-line or safety or wide receiver, tight end. We got impact players, but are we still as hungry, as we was? So I think, but that comes down to leadership and, me showing up to work every day, setting the standard, and Pat trying to do his best to set the standard for the offense. And but yeah, I think as long as we can maintain that hunger, we'll be all right.
Okay. Speaking of being hungry, y'all got a big meal this week. Some people saying this might be the game of the year already in week 3. Monday Night Football, MVP 2019, Lamar Jackson, Baltimore Ravens. Looking at what Lamar has done, I don't know if you started your prep yet, but he's completing around 77% of his passes. He's averaging almost 300 yards a game, no interceptions. What is it like preparing for a guy like Lamar Jackson? Because y'all played them last year in Kansas City, but seeing how he has evolved into an outstanding do-it-all quarterback, what is like prepping for Lamar Jackson, and what can we expect to see from your defense?
Yeah, I don't think you can really duplicate, preparing for him in practice. Not many scout team quarterbacks could, do what he do. So I think it's really a mindset, how are we going to approach this week? I think the way we played against the Chargers, I'm happy we won the game, but I'm glad we played that way because now we have some extra motivation going into a big primetime game against a high-powered offense. I think Lamar he's a special player, and I think you cut on the film, you realize that this is a quarterback that's comfortable in his offense. And so, whereas, most of these quarterbacks in the league, they're not comfortable in their own offense. And so they don't present as many challenges. So, obviously he got a great running game, and then you see him as well, trying his best to stretch the ball downfield, get everybody involved. And, like you mentioned, completing a high percentage of his passes, and we all know what he could do, once he get in open space. So, it's going to take all 11 of us, man, to really try our best to contain him, to affect him on each and every play.
Well, we're going to transition into the show into what we call the in the zone moment. Just like any normal prep for a ball game, you have your situational football moments, right? Red zone coming out, P and 10 and things like that. So this is the in the zone moment. So Tyrann, in the zone is basically a moment in your career where you were most in the zone, where the basketball rim was the size of the ocean, right? And now, granted, you got a lot. It's difficult because you got a lot to choose from,
right?
But people want to know, what do you believe was the most in the zone moment for you?
Oh man, let me think for a second. I probably say it had to, really going back to if I could pick a college game, is definitely going back to LSU.
Yep.
We played Arkansas. I think they was ranked number 3. 1 week we was ranked number 2, and yeah, I was just locked in that whole game, man. Had like a 90-yard punt return.
Yeah, punt return was crazy.
7 tackles, couple forced fumbles. I was just taking the ball from people. So yeah, that was kind of like that was one of my most intense in the zone moment. I was like zoned out for 60 minutes, which is like rare to do.
Would you say that was the best game in your football career, high school, college, and professional, just everything that you were able to master together?
Best game? Nah, actually, I'd probably say my best game I ever played was in high school, man. We played against West Monroe, and they're like always ranked in the top 10 nationally, as high schools. And we played them in like the semifinals of the playoffs. We lost by 2 points, but I scored every point. Caught like 2 picks on defense. I was just so fine, I missed any tackles that day. I just did everything right from a technique standpoint, and put my team in position to win. But we couldn't at the end. But that was probably my most fundamentally sound game I've ever played. Back in high school.
Pat, what's the best game you ever played?
My best game I ever played, probably I go back to my college days as well. My first game at punt return at LSU in the Georgia Dome. We was playing against North Carolina. Yeah, I mean,
I was at that game.
Yeah, I went crazy, man. I had 280 something odd yards, return yards. I broke the SEC record that night. Yeah, it was that like Ty said, I was locked in because I kind of felt less should have been put me in that punt return, so I felt like I had something to prove.
Yeah.
But that night, man, I was just in the zone. I was running all over the place. I started cramping up. I could have had like 500 yards, but I cramped up like 8
Pat,
minutes
you used to
go
cramp
in
a
the
lot
third
at
quarter.
LSU too, man. You used
Hey,
to
man,
cramp
that
a lot,
humidity, man. That humidity, man. I used to be geeked up, man. In college, man, that energy level, oh, man. I'm talking about, Mac, we used to have that Boosie rolling.
That Boosie?
Oh, man, I'm on that liquor. Oh, Lord. You already know, Ty.
Hey, they don't know about that little Boosie. Boosie
Right.
was heavy in Tallahassee also.
Right.
Yeah. Boosie was heavy in Tallahassee also. Ty, we getting ready to wrap it up, but we're getting close to the red zone part of the show and superlatives, right? So this is where we ask you random questions and you can't answer with yourself being involved. You know what I mean? So, Pat, you can get the first one to him and then we can kind of roll it off. But these are random questions. We want your honest answer.
Okay.
And like I said, we're getting close to the red zone moment. So this is where you play some of your best football in the red zone. So we should get some great answers from you.
All right, here we go. Best player from the 2013 draft.
Best player. Wow.
You need some help with some of the names?
Hey, I did some research, man. It's going to be – you're going to have to do some digging.
The best player. Yeah, that's a nice list, too.
And I'll give you a hint. You actually played with one of them, who I think is the best player.
Is it Kelsey?
Nope. Well, if you think,
Kelsey is in there.
Yeah, he's in the 13 draft. But if you think he's the best player, yeah.
I'm just trying to think who like from that draft is
okay.
Like.
So first rounders, you had Xavier Rose, you had D Hop, you had Dean Milder.
Yeah, I'd probably say Hop and Kelsey.
You also had Le'Veon Bell in that draft.
Le'Veon Bell.
Travis Frederick, Lane Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
Darius Slade.
Yeah, I mean.
Sharif Floyd.
I'd probably say Hop and Kelsey. I think them two, because just the numbers they've been able to put up, it's like all-time great territory. I don't think many people could say, that they're doing, what them two are doing. You know what I mean?
That's a nice list.
Yeah.
Best nickname in the league right now.
Best nickname. I'd probably say Frank Clark, the Shark.
Oh, I didn't even know that was his nickname. Yeah. That rhymes.
Frank Clark, the Shark.
That rhyme.
I
I
like
didn't even
that.
know that. I like that.
I like
Frank
that
Clark
too.
be having some nice cleats too. His cleat game be
Yeah,
fire.
yeah. Frank do be coming with it. For
Yeah,
a
he
big
be
guy,
coming
he
with some
come with
heat.
some heat. He definitely has some heat. Best album in 2020.
Best album in 2020. Probably say that Lil Baby, huh?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Probably say that Lil Baby. That was
That Lil Baby is nice.
probably the best one, no doubt. Yeah.
Hey, speaking of artists, you been on that boy Lil Keed?
I heard about him. I ain't never really.
Yeah, he got a nice little tone. He got a nice little tone.
I heard a couple.
Yeah, I think you'll vibe to him, Five.
Yeah.
Man, Pat, you said, look, what's his name? You know I'm a little older. I don't even.
Yeah,
who
Lil Keed.
Lil Keed. I ain't heard him yet. I might need to go in my portfolio.
Keed.
Keed, where he from?
Atlanta.
Yeah.
Man, you know Atlanta got about 300 million rappers, man.
Right.
Come out every week.
He got the same little tone though, but the tune, but his lyrics wasn't bad though. Like you can vibe to him. Yeah, Lil Keed.
All right. I got one for you. Best safety in the league.
That's easy.
League. I'd probably say
it can't be himself though.
Yeah, can't. I'd probably say Adams.
Lamar had a big game.
Yeah, I think just his level of impact on the game, is different from most, safeties in the league right now. I think he's really able to impact a good percentage of the plays.
Yeah.
Whereas most safeties are not even effective on most plays.
Right.
Man, he got that dog too.
Yeah,
that's something you can't coach.
No doubt about it. Let me see. Oh, I got one for you, Five.
Why you call him Five? What's that? That's a nickname?
Yeah, we Five Slime. Yeah, you got a bunch of them.
Okay.
If you wasn't playing football, do you really think you could have been the next AI? I know you be in your bag.
Yeah, and look, to be honest, bro, I think probably like the next Derek Jeter, because look,
I remember you say baseball.
My baseball coach used to beg me to stop playing football.
Really?
I couldn't.
You outfield, infield? Which one?
I used to play shortstop, second base. I pitch on occasions. Wasn't really like. I wasn't really like big into pitching. I just rather play the field. Bat first. But yeah, he used to beg me to stop playing football, man.
What?
I couldn't see that. I couldn't see what he was seeing.
Yeah.
I was just locked in on football. Was like it brought out a different passion for me.
Yo, that's what's up. I never knew that you had anything like that on the diamond, and clearly, I didn't know you was tough like that in basketball because I heard Pat mention, potentially being the next AI. But I
done played in World Series and all that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, growing up, man. So, but yeah, like I said, baseball was just a sport that I was just naturally
good at.
Football was
awesome, man.
That was what I was in love with. You know what I mean?
No question.
You got two boys.
Last question for you. Most likely path after football. Now, I did my research now, so I see you really enjoy acting.
Yeah.
And also, too, you feel pretty, heavy about politics. But what is probably the most likely path for you after football?
Oh man, shit. Try to save all my money where I could take a couple years off before I get back to work.
Hey,
amen to that.
I'll probably say, right now, man, I think, I like to serve, especially other people. I think, so many instrumental people that came into my life that, gave me that sense of hope that I needed. And I think so my next mission after football to hopefully touch, somebody in the same way that, obviously Pat touched me and, Coach Lee, my high school coach, he sparked my brain too. I used to play offense before I played DB, and he was like the first one to get me to buy into the defensive mindset. You know what I mean? And so it's been a lot of people that come into my life that really touched me in the right way. I'm hoping I could do it the same way. I don't know whether that be through coaching or, mentorship programs, but I see me, definitely, doing that in some way.
Man, that's dope, man. That's dope.
Yeah,
I think, that's something that a lot of kids are lacking. You know what I mean? A lot of kids come from difficult upbringings, and with you being able to go fight adversity and make it out on top, you know what I mean? You got a voice that people gonna listen to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's something that we all need to adapt, being able to try to help others. So, hey, man, I'm right there with you. 5.
Yes,
I can call you 5, but would you say 5 and Slime? What's the nickname? You got 5 Slime?
Yeah, just call him 5.
5. Okay, 5. But, hey, you know what, man? Listen, at some point in time when y'all boys, you know, got some free time, you know what I mean? Hopefully, ideally, y'all can meet up in the Super Bowl in Tampa. Right? I think that'd be dope. And we can do a all things covered in Tampa if we're able to travel. Yeah. But at some point in time, I want to see what your hoop game look like, Tyrann, because this man say AI, man, you had to be nice out there.
Hey, man, you can go both ways with it. You know, most guys don't have left and right.
Yeah.
I seen it.
I could get
nice.
Was you playing above the rim too?
I don't vouch for many people, man.
Huh?
I said, were you playing above the rim also?
Nah, I mean, my game is, you know, obviously I'm impacting on the defensive end. I'm going to run the court all day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I'm like I could drive and spot up, you know what I mean? And I could, you know what I mean, pull up. But, yeah, I'm a beast in transition.
Ooh.
So,
yeah.
That boy Pat had a nice little game, too.
Oh, yeah?
He was in the celebrity game with me one time. Me and Pat that ran mini courts together.
Right.
I'm gonna tell you the 2 best guys I didn't see play. Le'Veon Bell got something, and Adams from Green Bay.
Devontae.
Devontae.
Yeah,
he got some too.
Okay, yeah, I saw Le'Veon play, but I never saw Devontae play.
Yeah. Well, you got to look at his release off the line of scrimmage is almost like he on the court. You know, he be crossing boys up left and right.
Yeah, that's how that boy Stevie Jackson used to be.
Boy, Stevie Jackson had some.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, Matt, we're gonna let Ty get out of here, man. We know he got other plans going on, but man, Ty, we appreciate you being our first guest on All Things Covered, man. You enjoy the rest of your night. And man, we hope to link up later on this season and wish you the best of luck against the Ravens.
No question.
Hey, dog, appreciate y'all having me.